Hello friends, my name is Andrew and I humbly welcome you to Pothos Sound, where we are all about growing our sound. Now in the last video we did a lot of work in Photoshop and with WebKnobMan to create the basic layout of our instrument, get some basic essential custom graphic assets created and exported, and they're on standby, but we can't really do too much with them until we actually have a folder structure, a file structure for our Kontakt instrument. So without further ado, we're finally going to get Kontakt opened up. We're going to create what's called a resource container and start to get some of the peripheral applications set up so that we can actually build our instrument in Kontakt. But before we get started, I of course want to sincerely thank you for watching this video. The process for setting up all of our applications to build a Kontakt instrument is a little bit convoluted, but I think I've practiced it enough times now to sort of have an idea of what's going on. The first thing we're going to do is launch Kontakt. I usually do standalone mode just because it's less software being run by the computer at any one time. And I typically put myself in the expert view, and to create a new instrument in Kontakt, you simply double click in the blank area and a new instrument header pops up. Now this is the default view. This is with no samples and no nothing in it until we hit the wrench icon, and this is where we can go behind the scenes and start to build some things out. Now before we start pulling in samples and all of that stuff, I want to go ahead and create the folder file structure for the instrument so that we have all of the things in place to actually save our samples, save our graphic assets, and all of that good stuff. And I'm going to do that by hitting the save button, and we are not going to save this in virtual drumline. We're actually going to go to my Kontakt instrument development folder, and we are going to hit new folder. We'll hit create, and we will hit save. So now if we go into my external hard drive and we go into instrument development, and here it is, Ultimate Vocal Library, we'll see that we've got a folder for the samples and the NKI. And actually I'm going to go ahead and resave this. Let me delete these because I didn't name it quite how I wanted. So let me do this again. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to get rid of the space between library and then the .nki. So now we're set up. What we can do next is hit the instrument options button. We are going to go to the instrument tab, and where it says resource container, we're going to go ahead and create one of these. Actually, you know what? We could probably abbreviate this. So Ultimate Vocal Library, UVL_RC for resource container. And we're going to go back into my hard drive here. Here it is. And we just want it in this. So we're going to hit save. No resource folder structure found. Would you like to create one? Yes, that is what we're doing. And so you noticed when we hit that button that a few different folders appeared in our folder structure here, where we've got data, resources, this has a bunch of stuff in it, and then the samples was already there. The resources folder here is really important because this is where we're actually going to store our graphic assets and set up the information and structure for our custom script. So what I'm going to do to start with is actually pull in the graphics that we created in the last video and just kind of have them ready to go in the resource container. There's a little bit more that we have to do, but we'll get to that in just a little while. And actually one thing that I want to add to the knob, 127 frames, there we go. That way I know how many frames of animation that has. Okay, so with that stuff set up, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and get a performance view set up with creator tools, and then we will open up Sublime Text and get some of that going as well. So let's do exactly that. Let's hit creator tools. We're going to hit new project. This is going to be the Ultimate Vocal Library, and of course we want to save that in the same folder structure that we created just a minute ago. So this is going to create a .ncpr file. We're going to hit save, and so this now puts in what we call the .ncpr, which is like the creator tools file itself. But we need to create a performance view, and where we save this file within Creator Tools is really important. So we're going to hit the plus button over here. We're going to create performance view, and we're going to save this as UVL Ultimate Vocal Library underscore perf view. So this is the performance view file, and this will sort of make sense here in just a moment. But you'll notice that this is our file structure of our instruments build, right? So we need to save the performance view under resources, and then where it says performance view, and this is going to save as a .nckp. This is really important, and it's also really important that we know that it's named, as performance view, so we can tell what it is. So we're going to save that. And then this is where we can actually start to import some of the custom graphics and things like that we'll get to in just a moment. Now, the next thing to set up is a a Sublime Text framework. So Sublime Text is an IDE, an integrated development environment. It's basically a text editor for code. And we're going to set it up with what's called I think it's called an install package. It's the KSP script extension language. There's a lot of information about this particular, like what it is, out on the internet, but just know that it's going to allow us to write the custom code in Kontakt in a much more easy and efficient manner. So I actually have some development framework. I've got my new project, and I'm just worried about the controller and model. So we're going to open these up, and let me pull the screen down to the bottom here. The controller is sort of where we do a lot of the top level stuff, and then the model is where we're going to have some of the more sub-level stuff. And as we get into the scripting, this will make a lot more sense, but basically what we're going to do is rename these to be the UVL files, the UVL controller, and UVL model, and we'll have to change some of the text in here. So let me get some of this set up, and then I'll join you in just a moment. Okay, so I actually want to show you where I am going to be saving this stuff. So this is going to be the Ultimate Vocal Library underscore controller, and we need to save this under the Ultimate Vocal Library. So this is our instrument folder structure. We're going to go into resources, scripts, and then I like to create a file that is labeled dev or development. All right, and then we're going to go over to the model, Shift Command S for save as, UVL underscore model, and again we'll put it in this dev folder. Now what we have to do where it says import is actually write UVL underscore model, and then I'm going to get rid of that one. And so this right here, this import function, is going to make sure that the information that we write in the model file is imported to this. And again, that will start to make a little bit more sense once we get on with the scripting later on in the series. So two of the things that we need to do is set up the import NCKP, which is going to import the variable names, basically the names of the controls from the Creator Tools file, and then we need to also tell Kontakt to load the performance view, which is the file that we saved under performance view. So basically these two lines of script have to do with this one file, but both things that we have to do are very important. So let me get this path variable set up, and I've got one of my other scripts set up that we're going to modify. So let me copy this and paste it here, and then we're going to change a few things. So this is volumes, my SSD, Kontakt instrument development, and instead of menu synth, this needs to be the name of the file, or the folder rather, that is here. So this is Ultimate Vocal Library. So I'm just going to hit enter, command copy, and paste. It is in the resources folder. So this is in the resources folder under the performance view folder, and it is the UVL perf view. UVL perfview.nckp, and then over here what we have to do is type in that same file name without the extension. So it's UVL underscore perfview, and then we need to put this in quotation marks so that it knows the text string that it's looking for. And then lastly, with setting up our script framework here, the last thing we have to do is tell Sublime Text where we want the compiled script to be saved. And so basically we do that here, save compiled source. The ... tells it to go to the folder above. And then we're going to save this as the UVL underscore script. So when we compile this, that .txt, the text file, is actually going to show up in this folder right here with the dev folder. So there will be a .txt file right here. And then lastly, we have to go into the Kontakt instrument itself, into the script editor. We'll hit the edit button, and we can actually apply the script from the resources folder, which we know is right here, right? But it was blanked out. So what we've got to do is actually recreate the resources folder. So we're going to hit create. We're going to do the same name, UVL underscore RC. We're going to hit save. It's going to ask if we want to replace it. Yes. And this time you'll notice that it has a packed performance view file and a couple different things that it could not pack, but that's okay. That's going to work itself out. So we're going to hit close on that. And now if we hit this apply from button, all right, so I'm back in Sublime Text. I ran into a couple issues here. I want to make sure that one, there is a text file in the resources scripts folder. So right now we only have our development folder with our Sublime Text files, but Kontakt can't read those. We need the .txt file to go in here. But the problem is that when we try to compile in Sublime Text, it says no controls to import from the .nckp file. So one of the things that we're going to go ahead and do is open Creator Tools, and in Performance View, I want to just create a blank panel. We're just going to leave it as that. We're going to Command Save so that there is a quote control in the file that Sublime Text was talking about. Okay, so I just compiled after fixing a few things here with some code that we're not going to worry about for now. And if we go back into the Finder, we'll see that there is the UVL underscore script.txt that we outlined right here in Sublime Text. And this is really important because now when we go into Kontakt, we can apply from our resources folder the UVL underscore script, hit apply, and now we have a performance view. So everything is finally set up. Like I said, it's a little convoluted, but at this point, we're finally ready to start putting some of our custom graphics and stuff into Kontakt. So like I said, it's a lot just to get to the point where we are ready to start assembling the pieces with Creator Tools, with the custom script within Kontakt and all that. I think in the next video, we are going to go ahead and import these samples and start to get some of the filters and effects set up in the engine of Kontakt so that when we begin putting the user interface together, we'll be able to immediately start linking the controls to some of the stuff in the engine. So once again, I humbly thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.